Hey everyone, it's Brennan. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. Today we have a mass TBR of all the books I want to read this spring. But first I'm going to point out these earrings from Luluna Co. I'm going to link her Instagram below, but they're like plants. It's just like a big vine of plants and I wanted to highlight them in this video. Anyway, I kind of feel like monthly TBRs are not successful because I'm very much a mood reader, and also I pick up so many books all at once. Like, I think on my Goodreads shelf right now, I think I'm reading like 8 books. And I just have a lot of books I want to read, and I am pretty indecisive as a person, and I just like variety in my life. So I have 20-ish books on this list, so we better get going. First off, I have to finish Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the last book in the Throne of Glass series, and I love this series, and I love these characters, and I still feel so invested in this story. But I read Tower of Dawn in August of last year, and now it's March of the following year, and I haven't finished the series. This is a young adult verging on new adult fantasy series. We have a big world, and on one of the continents in this world, magic has been suppressed for the last 10 years, and we delve into that. And our main character is a young assassin who has a questionable past, and we find out more about her past. And there are fae in this world, which are, how do you even describe fae? What's the definition of fae? Fae beings have different forms that they can take. So like, you can have your fae form, which is like a very powerful human-ish form, and then you can be like a falcon or a wolf. But yeah, there's lots of evil in this book, and we fight it. There's a very broad explanation of Throne of Glass. So I'm like 200 pages into Kingdom of Ash, and then another current book that I'm reading is The Project by Courtney Summers. This is the Page Turner book club for this month. I think their live show is on March 28th. I will link Jess from Books Past Bedtime and any other related channels below. But this is a young adult thriller, and I don't think I've ever read a young adult thriller. I am probably 2 hours into this audiobook, and we are following our main character. Her name is Lo, and she was in a car accident when she was like 11, and her parents died, and her older sister B joined a cult or got wrapped up in a cult when she was trying to like wish Lo to get better after this car accident. And now Lo is 19. So does that make this a new adult thriller? Maybe it's a new adult thriller. It definitely has grown-up themes in it. So now Lo is 19 and she's working in like this journalism. She's a secretary in this journalism office, and she is wanting to look into this cult, but it's not recognized as a cult. It's just like a religious group. And she hasn't seen her sister in the last several years because she got pulled into this group, and she's looking into it. That's what you do in these journalism-based thrillers. Anyway, I'm really liking it so far. And then let's talk about the Kindle romance series that I need to keep up with. First, we're going to talk about Zodiac Academy. I promise I won't talk long about it. This is a new adult fantasy romance series in a fae world. The fae world of Solaria. And you have elemental abilities based on your zodiac signs. So air, water, earth, and fire. You can also do spell type things and do general magic type things. And in this series, we follow our main characters, Tori and Darcy. They are twins who grew up in foster care in our mortal world and then got told that they are the princesses to this fae world. They get swept away and are learning how to harness their abilities, and they also have several different love interests, and their love interests though are also their mortal enemies. So obviously it's a great time. I have read 4 books and I need to read the 5th book, Cursed Fates, and the 6th book, Fated Thrones. The 7th book in the series comes out in December. So I'm just loving the series and having a wonderful, wonderful time. Zodiac Academy is by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I also need to read Exodus by Kate Stewart and read her 3rd book in this Raven Hood series, The Finish Line. This is a new adult romance following our main character Cecilia, who graduates high school and goes to live with her estranged father for the summer so that she can work in his technology factory, because one day she will hopefully inherit it. And she develops a relationship with some muscle car gang boys. This is polyamorous, and like, don't get attached to anyone if you read it, but it's Kate Stewart and it's a steamy good time. And then I also need to read Tessa Bailey's Hot and Hammered series. I read the first book, Fix Her Up, last year and loved it. And I need to read book 2, which is Love Her or Lose Her, and book 3, which is Tools of Engagement. I like to play a game where I don't write down the names of these books and see if I remember them. But this is just a fun romance series, and it's super steamy and super funny. It is so funny. Tessa Bailey's dialogue between characters is just like no other. And it's called Hot and Hammered because it is centered around this family who has a fixer-up business, or just has like a construction, carpentry, renovation business. I think I talked about Fixer Up in a couple videos, and I'll link them below if you want to hear more, because we just have a lot to get into in this video. But Chandler from Chandler Ainsley, loved the 3rd book, but I'm one of those people, like, I know you can read these as standalones, but I really have to read them in order or else my brain might explode. And then the last little Kindle book on my radar is Forever Wild by K.A. Tucker. This is the final book in her Simple Wild series, and it's a novella, so it's like 150 pages, and it concludes Kala and Jonah's story. And I have it, I just need to pick it up. I think this follows like their families kind of meet over Christmas or Thanksgiving. They meet over a holiday, and then we wrap up their story. And I hear that this series is going to continue sort of with Marie, who is a character in these books, but I don't like Marie, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but I'll probably pick it up anyway. Oh, and also on Kindle, I have a few Dean Koontz books. I don't even know which ones I have, because when I see a Dean Koontz Kindle book that's on sale for like $1.99, I just buy it. I know I have Elsewhere. That's the only one that's really standing out to me, that the cover is really standing out to me. And I've really just been kind of in the mood. So I see Dean Koontz as like a dad suspense action book writer, because my dad reads him and recommends his books to me. So I kind of just feel in the mood for a Dean Koontz book, so I'll probably hopefully pick up one of them, because I've accumulated a lot of them. So hopefully I'll pick up one this spring. And then the next few audiobooks on my radar, I have The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull. Reagan from Peru's Project read this recently. And this is a science fiction book. It is a, what's it called? There are like subsections of science fiction. It's like a first encounter story. And I believe this is set in the Caribbean, like in the Virgin Islands maybe. And aliens come. I think this like spans a really long time, like pre-alien invasion and then like post, but it's like the humans, you know, living alongside the aliens. And Reagan liked it, so I'm really interested. The audiobook is pretty short, it's like 8 hours, and I have it, so looking to pick it up really soon. The next 2 audiobooks I want to get to this spring are Barack Obama's The Promised Land and Michelle Obama's Becoming. I'm gonna read Michelle's book first because it came out first, and again, my brain might explode if I don't read these books in order. But these are memoirs, biographies, one of my favorite genres of books. And I mean, I just hear nothing but wonderful things about both of these books, and I want to pick them up very soon. 2 other books that I have to read in order are Talia Hibbert's Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and Get a Life, Eve Brown? No. And Act Your Age, Eve Brown. This is her newest release. It came out on March 9th. And this is also the book for the Sugar and Spice Book Club for March. It's already March 17th, but I really need to read both of these. I'm sorry, but I can't pick up this book without reading the middle book. And also, I hear Danny's book is great. I hear Eve's book is wonderful. Kirsten is like singing its praises. These are adult romances. Danny Brown follows a PhD student and a security guard at her university, and they do some fake dating, which turns into friends with benefits, which turns into a relationship. And then in Eve's book, so Eve has a lot of like financial misadventures and like loses focus on her projects. And I think she likes to cook a lot, and she goes to work at a bed and breakfast, and her love interest is Jacob, who has autism is on the autism spectrum, and they have a wonderful relationship. And I liked Get a Life Chloe Brown, so I'm excited to continue with this series with beautiful covers. If you haven't noticed, we're getting into the physical books now, but I want to read Wilder Girls by Rory Power. This is on my 21 books I want to read in 2021, and Amanda was talking about it on a live show last night from Ginger Snapped Reads. I'll link her channel below, but I think I'm going to love this book, and I don't really know why. I think because I hear it's weird. And I think this is like over a pandemic in a school of girls, and it has Lord of the Flies vibes. That's all that I really know to say about it, and it also has a beautiful cover. And then I also want to read The Space Between Worlds by Micah Johnson. This is a multiverse science fiction book. You can travel to different, not dimensions, but you know, different parallel realities if you have died in those realities, and our main character has died in lots of these realities, and I think that makes her very coveted to travel a lot. And I think there's like cute romance in this. I don't know how cute you can be in a book with that premise, but I really like Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, which is another multiverse thriller, so I'm really excited to pick up this one. And then I have to read Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. This is the sequel to Strange the Dreamer. And if you've read Strange the Dreamer, you know that it ends on quite the heart-wrenching finale cliffhanger. So I have to pick up Muse of Nightmares ASAP. This is a young adult fantasy series following our main character in the first book, Laszlo Strange, who is a librarian who is very fascinated by this lost city of Weep. And he feels in his heart that Weep is real, but everyone else around him thinks that it's just this fantasy made-up city. Then he and some other people maybe get an opportunity to do some adventuring to this lost city. We have some godlike beings, and we have a lot of grief exploration, and it's an excellent, excellent book, so I'm excited to read the sequel. Continuing on with series I need to keep up with, I want to read The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. This is the spin-off series to his Mistborn trilogy, which I read 3 years ago? Has it been that long? I read Mistborn quite a while ago and loved it. It's an excellent, excellent adult fantasy trilogy. I did a video talking about it and I'll link it below. And this is in the future, after the events of the Mistborn trilogy. I want to say this is like loosely set around the 1920s. I don't know, I might be making that up, but I know they have guns, which makes their magic system really interesting because it centers around metal. Different people are born with different abilities to control certain metals, but some people can't control any metals, and there's probably a lot of politics in this book. And what can I say about a spin-off trilogy? I'm excited about it. And next I have 3 books that were lent to me. One by my friend Hannah from work. This is The Paragon Hotel by Lindsay Fay. And I think this is a thriller. Oh, she's the author of Jane Steele. Oh, I've heard of Jane Steele. It's like a Jane Eyre retelling. Interesting. This is a thriller, and I think it has a big twist. It's set in 1921, and I'm gonna guess it's about a hotel. Yeah, I don't know much about this, and because it's a thriller, I don't want to know much about this, but Hannah, I'm going to read your book soon. And then my thesis chair for my graduate program gave me a couple books to read, and one of them is Sold on a Monday by Christina McMorris. And this is about like selling children, like child trafficking. I don't really know that it's child trafficking, but I know that it is hard-hitting and I'll probably cry. Yeah, but I have this and I need to read it soon. And then she also gave me Jojo Moyes' The Giver of Stars. This cover, I feel like I see it everywhere. I don't know anything about this book. I think it's literary fiction. I've never read a Jojo Moyes book. I don't even know if that's how you say your name. I think it is. But, oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm a sucker for pretty books. This is set in Depression era America. That's the first thing it says. Yeah, I have this and I need to read it soon. I feel bad like hoarding people's books because I have a lot of books that I need to read. So I'm going to make it a priority to get to the books that were lent to me. And then I will just mention a couple new releases that I have pre-ordered for this spring. And one of them is Sally Thorne's Second First Impressions. And because I have this pre-ordered. I really want to read The Hating Game. I haven't read The Hating Game, and I feel like as a romance reader, that's just not okay. I have it on Kindle. I don't know what Second First Impressions is about, but The Hating Game is an office enemies to lovers romance. And I feel like people either really, really love it or are disappointed by it. And then the last book that I will talk about is Christina Lauren's new release coming out in May, and that is The Soulmate Equation. I don't know anything about this book. It's an adult romance, probably, and I'm excited to read it, excited to get it. I really like the cover, and thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in a comment down below some of the books that you are looking to get into this spring. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one.